Raider Nation, what's happening? Are we really going to draft a quarterback at pick 7? Let's talk about it. Raider Nation, what's going on? Welcome to Protect the Shield podcast. It's your boy Chris. Thank you guys for tuning in. First, I want to say thanks for all the support. Started this platform a couple weeks ago, and it's really been getting a lot of support, from diehard fans all over the country. So, second out, just say thank you guys for subscribing, liking, sharing the YouTube channel, following me on the social media platforms. I am on Twitter, Facebook, and I'm even on Spotify. So again, thank you guys for taking the time to really rocking with me and talking this Raider ball. So I really appreciate that. Also want to do a quick birthday shout out to Coach Josh McDaniels. Even though there's no time for celebrating, we need you and Ziegler to be focused on this draft and not screw this draft up. We've had so many bad drafts, so Raider Nation is not going to tolerate no more BS. So. But still want to say happy birthday. I know you're probably not listening, but who cares? But one thing I do want to address, man. So on the Facebook post or on my Facebook page, I did put a quick post just saying happy birthday to McDaniels. And man, in the Raider Nation, you guys, I mean, it's only half. I would say half, but you guys are still hating on McDaniels, man. There was so many laughing emojis and angry faces and stuff like that. But, at the end of the day, he's our coach. You guys can feel what you want to feel about him. But, he's our coach, man. We got to give him an opportunity. But, man, you guys were going ham. So, you guys are out of pocket. But that's neither here or there. So, but one thing I did want to kind of talk about today. So, yesterday, Dave Ziegler, he did have a press conference, and in his press conference, he brought up a couple things just regarding our quarterback and how things will go if we brought in a rookie quarterback. So one of the things that were said was, he said, I think at any time you find a young player at that position that's going to help or have an impact on your team, you have to keep an open mind to that. Of course, you're excited to have Jimmy, and having Jimmy does supply us with a very high quality starting player at the position. We feel comfortable with that. But I think to close the door and just say that's not something you would do because of X, Y, and Z, that's not the business we're in. So I actually thought that was a little interesting, just seeing that, for one, Ziegler, he's very media savvy, so he's not going to ever say anything that's going to tip his hand as far as our draft strategy. But I do feel like his answer insinuates that, they're truly interested in drafting the quarterback, early in the draft. And actually, if you go back to some of the things that McDaniels have said, he kind of insinuates that as well. But, I feel like, at this point, media to send smoke screens regarding the quarterback position. So we've literally seen reports from insiders, linking them to every quarterback in the draft. So if you think about it, going back to the combine, it was all about AR-15. He had a great combine. He was, a man amongst boys out there. And then we had some reports saying, the Raiders are only interested in Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. And we were looking to go to the number 1 pick and give up all this draft capital. And we were truly, considering that. Then the Will Levis reports came out. And then most recently, apparently we're high on Hendon Hooker. So really, I'm at the point where, if I see a report, then I'm assuming it's not happening. Because if you think about it, New England, they've always been one of the most tight-lipped secretive organizations for decades. And these guys are really cut from that same cloth. Not only McDaniels and Ziegler, but others in our front office. They're cut from that same cloth. They're from that same pedigree. So honestly, I don't think there's no way that they're going to be sloppy enough to leak their draft plan. That's just how I feel. But also just the fact that Josh McDaniels being who he is, he's confident. Many say he's slightly cocky. When you really think about Josh, I mean, I truly believe that he feels that he can make any quarterback a star. I don't think he feels that he needs to draft a guy high. I think his philosophy is, the player doesn't make the scheme, but the scheme makes the player. I think that's how he feels. And, after he traded Jay Cutler, back when he was in Denver, he was quoted saying, I could take a high school quarterback and make him into an all-pro. And I believe that he still believes that. So to be honest, I could see them taking a quarterback in the later rounds, but I strongly believe McDaniels has all intentions to rock with Jimmy G for the next few years. He feels that he can make Jimmy even more efficient than he was when he was for the 49ers. I mean, I think that's just part of that cockiness that McDaniels has. So, don't be surprised if we stay put, at 7 and not take a quarterback. I truly believe defense is going to be the move. The fact that we retain our defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham, for another year, and the fact that we didn't bring in any impact players during free agency, it leads me to believe that, they intend on going super heavy on defense's draft. Because I think it would be ridiculous to bring Graham back, give him basically the same players. We added a couple depth pieces, a couple guys that, have the opportunity to maybe be some players, but, we really didn't bring anyone of true impact to me. So to believe that he's going to take those same guys and, really make a big splash, I don't think that's too reasonable. So I really believe a lot of this draft is going to be dedicated to the defensive side of the ball. Because again, if you think about Josh McDaniels, he's a cocky person. I feel that he probably believes, with Jimmy G in place, he's going to have that offense rocking. Because if you think about it, even with Carr, last year, a lot of people were upset with, his play calling and how our offense looked at times, which is respectful. I get it. But, if you look at what he's done, last year compared to the year before, we average, our points per game went up on offense. And as bad as our defense looks, our points per game allowed was even lower than the year before. So, again, that didn't equate into wins, but, I think that's something to look at. I think Josh really has confidence in himself and the coaching staff. So I really believe defense is going to be the move because everyone knows that, we just don't have the impact players on defense. And then also you got to think that, Coach Graham, he coached the Senior Bowl this year. So he was able to spend time with a lot of these prospects and do a deep dive and get a good understanding on, how much of these kids like ball, what's their approach to the game. He got a chance to interview them, see how they practice, see what makes them tick. So he got a good look at a lot of these guys. So I really feel that he is going to take that opportunity that he had at the Senior Bowl and really go very defensive heavy, unless there was anyone that he saw that really stood out on offense. But, don't be surprised if this is, a majority defensive draft, and that's including early on in the draft as well. And plus just the fact that, we were one of the first teams that reportedly took Jalen Carter off of our draft board. That makes we're trying to, have a perception of not being interested. So don't be surprised if we move up a couple spots to grab him. I like the corners. I like Gonzo. I like Spoon. Some people are real high on Porter Jr. To be honest, if Jalen Carter if he's there at number 5, I would trade, a couple position, a couple draft spots and go get him at 5. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do it as well. When you talk about Carter, that's a generational talent. And, I'm not going to go on and on about him, but I just feel that, defense really is going to be the move. But, I really want to know what you guys think. So, let me know. Am I the only one who's not buying all these random reports about these insiders? Because honestly, these are the same insiders who've, been wrong every other Raiders draft. So, whatever. But, tell me what you guys think in the comments. And just remember, coaches and players, they'll come and go. But we have to make sure we always protect the shield. Thank you, guys.